1998 NBA All-Star Game. Let's go to the public address announcer, Mike Walszewski.
Get that happy feeling.
To help introduce the 1998 NBA All-Star teams, please welcome cast members from the Grammy Award-winning Broadway musical, Smokey Joe's Cafe.
State-of-the-art lights are bright on Broadway, on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air, on Broadway. But when you're walking down the street and you ain't had enough to eat, the glitter goes right off and you're nowhere.
Let's meet the 1998 NBA All-Stars. First, here are your Western Conference All-Stars. The assistant coaches from the Seattle Supersonics are Dwayne Casey, Terry Stotts, and Bob Weiss. The trainer for the West team is the Sonics' Frank Furtado. Head coach for the West, making his third All-Star coaching appearance from the Seattle Supersonics, George Karl. And now, the players from the Western Conference. Making his first All-Star appearance from the Los Angeles Lakers, Nick Van Exel. The #1 pick overall in the 1997 draft from the San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan. He won MVP honors at the 1995 Chic Rookie Game from the Los Angeles Lakers, Eddie Jones. This point guard is averaging over 9 assists per game this season. From the Phoenix Suns, Jason Kidd. Making his fourth All-Star appearance from the Seattle Supersonics, Vin Baker. The MVP of the 1995 All-Star Game from the Sacramento Kings, Mitch Richmond. The 1995 NBA Most Valuable Player from the San Antonio Spurs, David Robinson. And now, the starting lineup. At forward in his first All-Star Game start from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kevin Garnett. At forward, last season's MVP from the Utah Jazz, Karl Malone. He's been an All-Star team selection in each of his 6 seasons. At center from the Los Angeles Lakers, Shaquille O'Neal. Making his 5th consecutive All-Star appearance from the Seattle Supersonics, Gary Payton. He's the youngest starter in NBA All-Star Game history. At guard from the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1998 Western Conference All-Stars.
Hey, come on, follow me, please.
And now, here are your Eastern Conference All-Stars. The assistant coaches from the Indiana Pacers are Dick Potter and Rick Carlisle. The trainer for the East team from your New York Knicks, Mike Saunders. The head coach for the East guided his team to its best start in 20 years. From the Indiana Pacers, a 12-time All-Star, Larry Bird. And now the players. From New York St. John's University, and a first-time All-Star from the New Jersey Nets, Jason Williams. He's leading the Hawks in scoring for the second year in a row. From the Atlanta Hawks, Steve Smith. Another first-time All-Star from the Indiana Pacers, Rick Spitz. The Celtics' leading scorer and rebounder this season, from the Boston Celtics, Antoine Walker. The 1997 NBA All-Star Game MVP from the Charlotte Hornets, Glenn Rice. He's among the league leaders in assists, steals, and three-pointers. In his fifth All-Star appearance from the Miami Heat, Tim Hardaway. A four-time All-Star and two-time Olympic gold medalist from the Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller. Now, let's meet the starting lineup. Wow. This prolific scorer and rebounder is appearing in his sixth NBA All-Star game. At forward, from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Shawn Kemp. This forward leads his team in scoring, assists, and steals. From the Detroit Pistons, Grant Hill. Last season's Defensive Player of the Year at center, from the Atlanta Hawks, Dikembe Mutombo. Making his fourth consecutive start for the East All-Stars at guard, from the Orlando Magic, Anthony Penny Hardaway. He's a five-time NBA champion and a two-time All-Star MVP in his 11th NBA All-Star game. At guard, from the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1998 Eastern Conference All-Stars. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1998 NBA All-Stars. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise for the national anthems of Canada and the United States. Continuing our All-Star Weekend Salute to Broadway, the anthems will be performed by some of Broadway's brightest stars. To perform the Canadian National Anthem, please welcome, from the cast of the Broadway musical Jekyll and Hyde, Robert Cuccioli.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for
Please welcome the cast of the Broadway musical 1776.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red flares were flaming amongst bursting in the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Bob Costas, Isaiah Thomas, and Bill Walton will bring you the call of the 48th NBA All-Star Game right after these messages.
Just about tip-off time at Madison Square Garden for the 48th NBA All-Star Game. Welcome back inside. Bob Costas joined for the call by Isaiah Thomas and Bill Walton. Zeke, Michael Jordan has said it many times. He considers Madison Square Garden to be the mecca of basketball. If, in fact, this is his final NBA All-Star Game, it's a perfect place to make a last statement in this game and bow out with it.
Bob, this is the ultimate playground game. The All-Star Game is where Michael Jordan wants to shine. He wants to try to do things that he normally wouldn't try to do in the course of a regular season game. He's told all the players, bring your A game, because I'm coming out tonight to put on the show. This is Michael Jordan, possibly his last game, and he wants all the players to know that, hey, we got to come and entertain the fans, and we want to put on the show here tonight, Bob.
You know, Zeke, I was shocked there. You had the wide open layup, blew it badly, but luckily Michael there to follow.
Bob, that was a pass. Pass.
I see. Well, Michael Jordan is one familiar name here, at least one more time. But there are a number of other All-Star perennials missing for a variety of reasons, usually injury. All of these fellas with a number of All-Star appearances not represented tonight. On the other hand, there's already a new generation of All-Stars that has begun to assert itself. Some of these guys, just in their mid-20s, are already All-Star perennials. A few of them are making their first or second All-Star appearance, Bill.
Bob, along the lines of the new blood here in the NBA All-Star Game, we also have a new coach in Larry Bird. I asked Larry what his pregame message would be to that Eastern Conference team. He said, Bill, it would be twofold. First, a plea for team play. The passing, the special combinations like Isaiah and Michael, that's what makes these games so special. But then Larry was also going to ask his teammates, his players, to reflect on the riches and the glory of what is so special about this game, because Michael Jordan, he only needs 40 points to tie Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA All-Star Game. But Michael's under so much pressure because of being sick and the turmoil of Chicago's management situation. There's also so much hype about Kobe Bryant and the speculation about the future of the game. So Larry, he has asked his players to make sure that Michael, who's taking care of all of them, that today they take care of him. He needs 41 to break the record. I look for this overmatched East squad to be really inspired, play passionate ball with Michael right in the middle of everything.
It would have to be quite an outburst, because obviously you don't play regular season minutes, at least not usually, in an All-Star game. The All-Star game single season record, 42 by Wilt Chamberlain back in 1962, the year he averaged 50 a game. Michael already has the highest All-Star average ever, 21 plus in 10 previous games. But Kareem played in 18 All-Star games and thus has the highest overall point total. And there you see Kobe Bryant in the foreground, the man many have dubbed the next Michael Jordan. Of course, that's a bit silly. There will be no next Michael Jordan, but the combination of skill and flair that Kobe Bryant brings to the game has already captivated the country.
Kobe definitely brings the skill and the flair. You know, he's a very exciting player. He's entertaining. The thing that I'm amazed at a very young age is he already understands how to entertain the fans. And he and Michael Jordan have promised us in their interviews that they will put on a show here today.
East won last year at Cleveland, 132-120. Glenn Rice of the Hornets, with 26 points in the game and a record 20 in one period, was the MVP.
Now, Michael Jordan comes to this All-Star game without Scottie Pippen and without Phil Jackson. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get into his rhythm, because Anthony Hardaway is not known for passing, but more so for scoring.
Here is Michael. The head fake on Garnett. Over him into the lane with the game's first two.
So much for being sick.
Yeah, I think he's okay. He's got the bounce, he's got the skip. He's ready to put on the show here today.
The countdown at 39 early.
Guarded, by the way, by a defender who's 6'11", Kevin Garnett. Peyton into Shaq for the turnaround on the baseline to tie it at 2.
Well, you got the competition starting early. Everybody's out competing. Everybody wants to put on the show here today. Shaq with the fadeaway J, not known for that, but the players will try to do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Hill rolls it home. He's averaging better than 21 a game. Always a threat to put up a triple-double for the Pistons.
Nobody has missed yet, Bob. I think that's a lot to do with the fact that so many great players are here. There's the first miss of the day. Kobe Bryant, pass by Shaq.
But intercepted by Kemp, who's confronted by O'Neal. The ball out of bounds to the east.
When Michael Jordan curls around off this down screen, he freezes his switched off defender, and he gets right in the lane. There's no way Kevin Garnett has the lateral mobility to stay with Michael Jordan.
Peyton on Hardaway. Mutombo with the screen, and Penny with the bucket.
Everybody's got their A game tonight. Now let's see now if they can increase the tempo. What normally happens in All-Star games is that there's a lot of one-on-one. Larry Bird has a stress passing, what we used to do in the 80s. Let's see if they play together as a team and try to increase the competitive level that's happening out there.
Peyton with the spin. Bryant, Kobe's first All-Star hoop.
It's amazing, Bob, when you watch Kobe Bryant practice and work on his game. That ball goes right through the middle of the hoop. There's no luck to those shots. He does have trouble finishing off the dribble, though.
Hill on the drive for his second basket. The East leads it 8-4. Here's Garnett and the Kid, as they call him, in Minnesota.
Everybody is waiting to see what Gary Payton and Nick Van Exel has planned when they get into the game. They say they're going to do something special for us, and I want to see what type of tricks Gary Payton got up his sleeve.
Kemp's turnaround spins out. Payton with the rebound. Shaq into the lane, over Mutombo, the ball knocked away and out of bounds. As you know as well as anyone, Isaiah, even more so than in a regular game, a point guard in an all-star game holds the fortunes of his teammates in his hands, and how the Paytons and the Hardaways and the Van Exels and the others decide to distribute the ball determines the outcome and the MVP.
Oh, you better believe that those guys were treated well this weekend. Everybody probably took them out to dinner, was buying them gifts and everything because they wanted the ball. They're begging.
Malone missed, but at the other end comes back for the steal. Garnett had to go up and wasn't in position to handle the pass from Payton. A little schoolyard play, and Payton has it as they set it up. He misses a three badly, didn't draw iron. Hill backing away from Garnett.
Bring it back to Jordan.
Hardaway. And Penny, who's played only 17 games this year, missed almost 2 months with a knee injury, but voted as a starter by the fans, hits again. Shaq muscling it up over Mutombo.
Mutombo doing a very good job of forcing Shaq to the fadeaway. Shaq intent always on getting to that basket.
The thing that I'm impressed about is both teams seem to be playing together. There's a lot of passing, there's a lot of movement, they're cutting on offense, and the teams seem to be running their lanes wide also on the fast break.
And the game's first whistle from Bob Delaney, working the game with Hugh Hollins and Bernie Fryer.
A Laker connection here. Kobe Bryant along that baseline off the back screen by Shaquille O'Neal. That terrific ability to hit that spot-up shot, and then Shaq when he is that deep. Pretty nice defense by Dikembe Mutombo, but that fadeaway jumper's going down. Now, Shaq is from this Newark area. He was over in Newark yesterday visiting all his family over there. He's got an uncle, Stanley Harrison, who's the brother of his father, and very, very sick in the hospital. It's a sad story. Shaq did not able to appreciate and enjoy all the festivities because of the sickness of his uncle there in the hospital.
1 or 2 for Shaq at the line. Jordan from the head of the key, and Malone has the rebound. Pegging it ahead for Bryant. Picked up by Garnett. Back to Kobe.
Oh, see that?
And Hill comes away.
See, this is the game where you want to have a lot of oohs and a lot of ahs.
Kemp from Jordan. Fouled as he went up.
You know, it don't matter if you make the shot in a game like this. This is where you want to try everything that you can ever imagine. So this is when you want the fans to go, ooh, ah.
Sean Kemp on the line.
You know, Sean Kemp came to my camp when he was 17 years old, and the size that he is now today is the exact size that he was at 17. He was really a man amongst boys, and he played with the same type of intensity. So you have Kobe coming down right here. Kevin Garnett's giving him the ooh, and Kobe comes back with a ah.
But no.
Sometime in these games, though, there's the opportunity to make a simple play, and they try to put a little bit more on it, and it backfires. That time, Kobe unable to convert.
Well, the timing is off. You know, when you got great players like this playing out on the court, it usually takes them about 5 minutes to adjust to get used to each other's timing and rhythm.
Kemp.
Sean Kemp.
The East by 5 at 14-9. Here's Payton, who had 17 points and 10 assists in a losing cause for the West last year in Cleveland. O'Neal screening for him and gets it back on the lob, draws a double team. A much better passer than a lot of people realize. This time he tries to take it to the hoop, and he's bumped by Mutombo for the foul.
See, this is what Shaq, you know, normally wouldn't do. But in an all-star game, he wants to take it between his legs and go behind his back.
This year's Lakers, with Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal, the first team since the 1983 Philadelphia 76ers to send 4 of their players to the All-Star game.
So you got Shaq out on the perimeter now, isolating against Mutombo. And he's trying all the moves that he dreamed about when he was a guard growing up. He went between his legs. He just tried to give him a Steve Smith hitch and go move.
Hill misses, Kemp rebounds, but loses it. And Garnett is on the end line. It'll belong to the East. A timeout with 6:55 to play in the first, and the East up by 5. Stars on the court and in the stands. A lot of A-list folks. Bette Midler performed here on Friday night as part of the All-Star Weekend. Donald Trump, Matthew Broderick with his actress wife, Sarah Jessica Parker, Magic Johnson, Jack Nicholson making an East Coast appearance, and the greatest, Muhammad Ali. And this is the crowd responding to Ali's image on the Jumbotron overhead. As we come back, Jordan takes the quick inbound pass, and his shot rattles out. Here comes Bryant ahead of the field, reverse slam.
See, that was an ooh and an ah and a clap. See, that's what I'm talking about. In an All-Star game, you want to do things that you normally wouldn't do. Kobe understands at a very young age how to entertain.
The great outlet pass started it by Shaq. A lot of centers don't outlet the ball anymore. They want to be involved in their own offense, but Shaq knows how important Kobe's electricity is to the team. Setting him up, the delivery, the spin, what's that, the helicopter?
No, that's called a 360 in-your-face slam dunk at 19.
To be 19. That's when the defenders run to the other end of the court when they see him coming like that at you.
Oh, yeah, nobody wants to play against him nowadays. Everybody is looking at Kobe saying, oh, Kobe's coming to town, Kobe's coming to town. The fans and everybody screaming. Nobody wants anything to do with this kid.
There's a problem with the clock, and that's the reason for the delay, giving us a chance to look at Kobe again.
So you see Kobe get to here. He plants, he jumps, he spins, and that's the slam dunk in your face.
Last year was Kobe's first All-Star game as a visitor, even though his parents grew up in the NBA.
This is Hardaway to the left hand, and Mutombo with the follow.
But at the NBA 50 celebration last year, Kobe told us, he said that he learned from Earl Monroe and Tiny Archibald that patience is the ultimate key to his long-term success. He had a fabulous time in Cleveland last year, as we all did.
Except maybe in the All-Star game. He looked a little impatient there that last trip down the floor. He's got the ball in his hands again. To Garnett. Back to Kobe!
See, that's the ooh. Kobe and Garnett. You know, two of the youngest, the superstars, keying up, eyeing each other. As they get their tempo and they get their rhythm, the game and the pace will start to quicken. Now they need to push it up the court and keep pushing it and keep pushing it.
Kobe with 6. Hill just a step inside the three-point line, and he has half a dozen.
So you got to make another spectacular play coming back. You can't come down and set it up right now. You just had a spectacular play. Now you got to get the fans into it.
Payton's pass is intercepted by Kemp. Here's Jordan on the wing, slapped away by Payton.
Gary Payton is doing everything he can to set Shaq up.
This time it's Garnett, and now Shaq. Against Mutombo, who makes him change the shot, and finally, they whistle play dead.
Kobe Bryant in transition. He's going to give it up here, and then Kevin Garnett showing that he can pass. When I asked all these players who their heroes were coming up, Isaiah, your name came up all the time, but Kevin Garnett, he said that his favorite player, he wanted to be like Magic Johnson. He's showing it right there, setting up the finish for Kobe well above the rim.
Nice.
Tim Hardaway in, Penny Hardaway out in the backcourt for the East. There's Tim Hardaway of the Miami Heat on Gary Payton. Hill gets a piece of the pass, and Kemp comes away with it. Kemp pushing it up the floor, takes it in, dumps it off to Hill, and the reverse isn't there, but Jordan stuffs it home.
Now they got to push it up. Somebody got to get it in bounds and push it up quick. That's how you get the fans in it. You can't come down and walk it up right now.
But the big guys for the West aren't running back on defense.
Shaq banks it in.
You know, Shaq has a game when he gets down low. He's strong enough and big enough where he can take a basket. He can gangster a basket.
Shaq with 7. Kemp against Malone, who fouled it.
When you watch Michael Jordan finish plays that other people couldn't, Grant Hill unable to get the reverse layup, and Michael, everybody else is standing. And to me, that's the beauty of Michael Jordan. It's about timing. It's about positioning. Everybody else is going to be down on the floor, not knowing where the ball is, and Michael high above the rim. Everybody else only a spectator.
Jason Williams of the Nets checks in. Jordan, baseline, got it.
The thing that's happening out here today is nobody's double teaming anybody. So you're allowed to display your skills. You're allowed to use all your moves because the coaches wisely have decided not to employ any traps or any double teams.
Bryant for three. He didn't come here to be bashful.
How much did you listen to your all-star coaches, Isaiah?
Well, I listen to him all the time because I was young and afraid like Kobe Bryant.
Count it, plus the foul for Jordan, who now has 8 and a chance for 9.
But Michael told him, bring your A game. And if you don't bring your A game, I'm going to embarrass you. Michael, get him on the low post right here, and then give him the fake and the fade and the lean. Follow through, and you get the little bounce and the skip. That's when you know he's in his rhythm.
When I was talking to Michael in the locker room before the game today, I asked him about all this speculation about what's going to happen. He said, Bill, I signed up under certain circumstances to play for the Chicago Bulls. And I want to keep playing under those circumstances. If somebody else changes those circumstances, then I don't want to be responsible under changed circumstances. So it was clear to me that he definitely wants to keep playing in the NBA.
David Robinson of the Spurs, Eddie Jones of the Lakers come in for the first time. Vin Baker here for the Sonics, also making his first appearance. And Payton misses from the corner. Rebound Mutombo. Grant Hill. Jordan. Jordan intercepts it, takes it in against Robinson. There's some contact, but no foul. Eddie Jones to Payton. Payton to Bryant. Spin move, left hand, no good. Tip try by Jones isn't there. Baker will try it. And finally, it's Mutombo.
You got the 2 shot blockers in, and David Robinson and Mutombo, and they both told us they was going to protect the goal.
Hill swooping to the hoop, but it comes up short. Eddie Jones with a 3. Way off. But Payton keeps it alive for the West. Kobe into the lane, to the hoop. And he's fouled. Is this pace quick enough for you? Stopped only temporarily by a timeout.
You're going to have to work as hard as Michael Jordan, but also have the myriad of skills, the outside jumpers, the creativity, and the incredible athleticism that enables you to finish like Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, not only the youngest starter, but the youngest player, period, in All-Star history. He is the 3rd player to be a reserve for his team during the season, but selected to start the All-Star game. John Havlicek did it a couple of times for the Celtics. Dan Marley once for the Phoenix Suns. Lots of bench players have been voted All-Stars, but they played as reserves off the bench in the All-Star game. Only 3, Havlicek, Marley, and Kobe Bryant, have started the game after being 6th men for their teams during the season.
You know, Jerry West and the Lakers thought so much of Kobe Bryant when they drafted him. He told us Friday that they gave him Magic Johnson's old locker. And when he sat in his locker at the Forum, he got chills in his body.
Who wouldn't? Mr. Clutch. Magic Johnson with his wife Cookie with him. And Kobe has a very good sense of the history of the game. After all, he is the son of Joe Jellybean Bryant, an NBA veteran. He's around the game his entire life.
And his mom, Pam, grew up in that whole NBA lifestyle, so she knew how to raise a quality young man here.
Yeah, he has the total package. He has a great understanding of the game, a great history and a knowledge of the game, very similar to what Michael Jordan and Grant Hill had when they came into the league.
Glenn Rice and Reggie Miller getting set to check in. Rick Smits is already in for the use. The Pacers center. Here he is. His first shot. He's making his initial All-Star appearance, and this is 10th year in the league. Nobody has ever gone longer in the NBA before making their first All-Star team. A decade in the league, and finally an All-Star.
Now, Rick Smits is a very good outside shooter. He shoots it good from 18 to 15 feet in. He's got great low post game, and if anybody hasn't seen him play in a while because he's been injured, this guy can put it in, and he's got 3-point range. I hope he takes one today.
Bob, I think the 2 most overlooked All-Stars who are finally here are Smits and Nick Van Exel of the Lakers. The last couple years, Van Exel and Rick Smits have really deserved to be here. It's about time.
Van Exel with his first All-Star appearance in half the time of Smits. This is his 5th year.
talking to all the players on the Western Conference, they said the guy they missed most is Charles Barkley, because it was really quiet in the locker room before the game.
It took Glenn Rice about 3 seconds to launch his first shot, which is a miss. Now Jason Williams. Hardaway for 3, and Tim Hardaway drills it.
Tim Hardaway knows how to put on a show. He and Gary Payton go back. They go way back from when they were playing against each other in the Western Conference. They got a little rivalry going.
That goes back further than that, Isaiah. He was telling me how he used to take a lot of abuse from you when he was growing up as a young man in the city of Chicago.
Mitch Richmond's first basket. He was the MVP of the game in '95 in Phoenix from the Sacramento Kings, but perhaps not much longer. February 19th, the trading deadline. His name's been in trade talks all year. Hardaway with 2 in a row from beyond the arc. Robinson's underneath, and he slams it home.
Back to Mitch Richmond. Miami's been very interested in trying to get him. Pat Riley's been trying to get him all year. They see him as the missing link to the championship puzzle, with the 1-2 punch of Hardaway, also having the inside strength of Mourning. Pat Riley is desperately seeking a trade to try to bring Mitch Richmond to the Miami Heat.
Tim Hardaway evidently feeling that when you're hot, you're entitled to shoot until you cool off. Launched home from about 10 feet beyond the arc and finally missed.
That's called a heat check, Bob. And Hardaway, Tim, is one of the guys that can get the MVP today.
Mitch Richmond comes off the bench hot. He's hit 2 in a row. Here's Jason Kidd of the Suns in the game for the first time, leaning on Tim Hardaway.
When you talk to opposing coaches about Hardaway, Tim, they fear his post game, Bob, every bit as much. And Tim Hardaway, he's your size, Bob.
Well, not quite. I wish. Richmond for 3.
So you got 2 guys out there right now, Mitch Richmond and Tim Hardaway. They having a little mini shootout. Both of them are trying to get into a serious thing, a serious groove.
Last shot time.
In the final 10 seconds, Richmond's foot was on the line, by the way. That was a 2 and not a 3. Hardaway into the lane, tosses up a hook. Pat Riley would not have approved, but in the All-Star game, it's okay with Larry Bird. Jones missing from half court. First 12 minutes in the books. East 33, West 25. Back to Madison Square Garden after this. You're watching the NBA All-Star Game on NBC.
Welcome back to the All-Star Game. Jim Gray at Madison Square Garden. Kobe Bryant, first quarter 8 points to lead the West in scoring. Kobe, 19 years old. Is this everything you thought it'd be?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely enjoying myself. This is top-notch basketball right here, so it's definitely a dream.
You're certainly not bashful. You came out firing.
I just wanted to come out and be aggressive and try to get loose and get with the flow of the game. And Kevin talked before the game. He said he's going to help me get loose, and he did.
How about that 360 dunk? Tell us about that one.
I just wanted to improvise and do something nice.
Now, you said you'd be nervous. You thought before the game, were you?
No. Once I stepped out there on the court, I really didn't feel as nervous, I guess, because I was at home, playing a game of basketball, and I haven't played in a couple of days, so I felt at home.
Just another game, right? Yeah, right.
Something like that.
All right, Kobe, we look forward to seeing you back in the game. Bob?
All right, Jim, thanks. Here's Glenn Rice with his first field goal. And the East is back up by 10 at 35-25 in the first minute of the second quarter. Vin Baker fouled as he goes up. Baker went into the All-Star game on a real high note, 41 points and 11 rebounds on 16 of 22 shooting Wednesday night in a home victory against Larry Bird's Pacers. And folks, you can log on to NBA.com and join NBC's own Steve Cyber Snapper Jones in a live All-Star Cybercast of tonight's game. He's taking your questions. There he is, 3-time ABA All-Star. He'll provide his analysis on the NBA's website, www.nba.com, to speak with the snapper. Baker makes them both. Rice comes back and fires. Long off the back iron. Kidd has the rebound. Between his legs, Robinson couldn't handle it, but Baker was there to pick it up and slam it home.
Jason Kidd missed last year's All-Star game after making it the year before. He was injured, broken collarbone. This for him is his dream game. He's the ultimate creator out there in the Western Conference on the break, and now he's got big-time finishers who can deliver.
Smith from Hardaway.
To be 7-4. Dream about it, Bob. Dream about it.
If even you're dreaming about it, I'm not going to bother to think about it. Eddie Jones fades and fires, and Eddie Jones has it rim out for him. Big stick with it, and Smits loses it. It'll still belong to the West.
Did they take the traveling violation out of this game?
Some think they've taken it out of the league entirely, and certainly in the All-Star game, they're not calling it tight. Look at who's in the game right now, and obviously the substitutions come fast and furious. Robinson mishandles it, East ball.
We got two paces in the game right now, Rick Smith and Reggie Miller. Let's see if they try to run something for one of those guys and get them involved in the play together.
Miller driving on Kidd, tosses it up on the run, and he'll come to the free throw line. This, in a sense, is Reggie Miller's second home, Madison Square Garden. He's had a number of great performances here in front of hostile crowds he enjoys provoking.
Yeah, I talked to Reggie Miller Friday, and he was he's a little mad because he feels that they're not getting the type of respect that they deserve over here in the East. They feel that everybody's talking about Chicago, and they've kind of conceded that it's going to be Chicago and Miami, and he doesn't want anybody to forget that, hey, we were here a couple of years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals battling the Knicks.
But Reggie gets the ultimate respect when he comes in here because they all boo him the loudest, and he's well aware of the significance of that.
Jason Kidd. And Jason Williams with the rebound. Second in the league in that category. To the Bulls, Dennis Rodman. Tim Hardaway in a crowd has it knocked away. Goes to the floor to pick it up. And now it's Glenn Rice.
Nice
Smits.
Glenn Rice's first pass of the afternoon.
Richmond's open. But his three spins out. And another rebound for Jason Williams. The lob intended for Rice is broken up by Eddie Jones. Mitch Richmond is back. Miller cuts him off and causes him to miss the layup.
See, that's when you know they're playing, they're competing. They're not giving up any layups. Michael Jordan warned them early that they wanted to win, and they're coming out to get it.
Hardaway tries another three. It ricochets to Eddie Jones.
Rick Smits is making a mistake. He's trying to keep up with the ball. You just got to stay at one end when you're a big guy, preferably the offensive end.
A two-pointer for Mitch Richmond. Again, is his toe on the line. The West back to within 7.
I'd like to comment on a Mitch Richmond situation, Bob. Because, here's a guy who played on basically a losing team his whole career. I think he needs to do more if he's really serious about getting to that championship level. He's going to have to take a sacrifice, a pay cut to get what he wants. He cannot have both.
One of the great catch-and-shoot players in NBA history, Reggie Miller, doing just that. What he does best in that last sequence. Here's Vin Baker muscling one home.
You got to admire what Vin Baker has done to his body. He was a guy, when he first came into the league, was a very skinny kid. He spent a lot of time working out in the summer and has gotten his body to the point where he can go down and perform under the low post.
Kidd lobs it up there for Eddie Jones.
Nice. Now see, that's Jason Kidd and Eddie Johnson and Eddie Jones. And the alley-oop finish.
Timeout, East.
Jason Kidd told me before the game, Bob, when he learned from Magic Johnson, his boyhood hero was, when you come to these games, learn to let the joy show. And the West bench just absolutely loves it. Everybody coming up and enjoying it.
Ahmad Rashad back at Madison Square Garden, and Michael C. Now, you weren't feeling well when the game started, but once you got out there, you and Kobe going one-on-one, it got exciting.
Well, I mean, he's coming at me. I mean, I think that's the approach. I think he's being very, very aggressive. And, if I knew someone was sick, certainly the first thing I'd do, I'd go out to someone. But, I got to defend myself. I'm going to go out there. He's got to play defense just like I got to play defense.
I noticed that you woke up, though. You kind of like gliding a little bit, and then once Kobe started going at you here, you came back.
I'm just trying to get my legs underneath me. I haven't been near basketball for 3 or 4 days, and I haven't been up out of bed for that long. So, I'm not trying to overdo things. And, No, but he's doing the right thing. He's coming at me, which he's supposed to. But I have to defend myself in whatever way I can.
So the pride factor does count.
Oh, yeah, it counts a lot.
The king is not dead, Bob.
Long live the king. And while Ahmad was chatting with Michael, Reggie Miller hit a 2 and Glenn Rice a 3 for the East. Here's Baker with authority for the West. It's 45-37 East.
See, that's what the young kids have to do. They have to come out and challenge the veterans and make them play, make them compete. And if they don't compete, you got to embarrass them if you're one of the younger players.
Well, let's see what Jones decides to do. To the reverse slam.
The thing that I like what's happening here is that the younger guys are making the older guys play. They're competing. They brought their A game. Everybody's stepping up to the challenge, and everybody wants to perform here.
Here's Steve Smith of the Hawks. He and Antoine Walker of the Celtics just checked in. Rice for 3 again, and good again.
So you got good spacing, you got good ball movement. You know, in the rookie game last night, they wanted to do a lot of isolation, a lot of one-on-ones. What you see happening here is that they're playing basketball together. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of picks, there's a lot of screens.
Mitch Richmond, it's short. Robinson keeps it alive and a fresh 24 for the West. Here's Richmond. And Smits with the rebound, as if anyone's ever going to use the whole 24 in this game.
Jason Kidd is passing. They're not catching. And they're not finishing.
Rice has hit 3 consecutive three-pointers.
Glenn Rice has got hot. He's hot now. Now they got to keep feeding him. They got to keep feeding him the basketball.
One of the game's deadliest marksmen when he's on. He has 11 points in this quarter. Holds the All-Star record with 20 points in a quarter last year. Smits fouled Robinson. And we'll come back to Madison Square Garden after this. Magic Johnson with a front row seat at the Garden tonight. Let's flash back 6 years. The 92 All-Star game in Orlando was memorable. You remember the scene. Magic, voted by the fans to start, despite having retired prior to the season, greeted by his peers. Then he responds with 25 points in 29 minutes, ending the game in storybook fashion, a last-minute 3, and the MVP honors. But there's more to the story, Isaiah.
Yeah, that was a special moment for the NBA and its family. You know, Magic was dealing with a serious illness at that time. Before the game, we had a players-only meeting, and we all decided that we wanted to go up and hug him and embrace him and show the world that it was okay to let Magic back on the world stage again. And it was a very, very special moment for all of us as players because Magic had done so much and meant so much to all of us.
He hit that last three-pointer over you, but you didn't seem to mind.
Well, you have to put the show on, Bob. I was mad. Really, I was upset that he shot it in my face like that. But and you would recognize it.
Basketball fans will never forget that this All-Star game is what it is today because of Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas, the two guys who created the show and learned how to get everybody involved and put on the spectacle that it is today.
Robinson's cross-court pass deflected out of bounds by Reggie Miller. 5.5 to play in the first half. The East by 10.
Well, I love what I'm seeing in this All-Star game here. Unlike the others in the past couple of years, the guys are competing, they're working hard, and they're putting on the show.
I think it's a combination of Larry Bird's presence, Jordan's presence, Magic, you're sitting here, New York City. It has all been perfect.
Another assist there for Jason Kidd, setting Robinson up for the dunk, and then Kidd fouls Rice. That's his second.
Speaking about Glenn Rice, I was asking him, what has changed over the years, what he's learned now in these multiple All-Star appearances, including last year's MVP performance. He said the thing that surprised him the most, Bob, was that Michael Jordan keeps getting better and better. While everybody expects him to slow down, but because Jordan works so hard at it, he's that good.
Antoine Walker got the bounce. Now at the other end, Duncan with the turnaround, and he connects. He's the only rookie in the game, although not the youngest player on the floor, of course, because Kobe Bryant, straight out of high school, is just 19, and this is second season. Rice finally misses a 3, and Duncan has the rebound. Van Exel into a crowd, lost it, recovers it, shoots it, misses it. Here comes Antoine Walker behind the back to Reggie Miller. Man,
nice play. Antoine's another one of those guys who are from Chicago in the summer league, played with Mark Aguirre, played with all the guys, and in Chicago, and you'll see what happens here. Antoine comes up, he reads it, sees Reggie Miller out the corner of his eye, behind the back pass. That's the peripheral vision.
Even though, Isaiah, that he's from Chicago, he did say that Magic was his guy. He said Magic was bigger, like I was bigger, but Antoine Walker, the oldest of 6 children, grew up in the humble circumstances there. He's bought his mother and his younger family members a nice house out in the suburbs where he puts on free clinics in the Chicago area in the summertime. And Michael Jordan, surprisingly enough, Larry Bird didn't forget about him over there.
He comes back in along with Sean Kemp and Grant Hill. Smits, Miller, and Rice go out.
So you see Antoine Walker bringing the ball up court. He's very versatile. He can play inside, outside. He can do it all out on the court.
Walker misses the 3.
And the 3 is not out of his range.
Look how Jason Kidd positions himself on the rebound. He is on the move as his big guys, Duncan, Robinson, are moving to get that ball, so he gets the quick outlet first and starts to break. Beautiful.
Well, the All-Star game was made for a guy like Jason Kidd with his talent and his passing ability. He's very unselfish and he wants to give it up to everybody.
Robinson took it away from Kemp. Here comes the West. Van Exel with it. Pulls up, unleashes a 3. It's no good. Kemp back the other way. Even the big men can play like guards, or at least try to in this game. They all want to show they've got a handle. Jordan left alone. That's usually not a real good idea.
But Michael Jordan has the real handle.
David Robinson just looked at him and said, "Do you ever miss jumpers?"
Tim Duncan. Backing Walker in. And scoops one up. It's an air ball. His teammate David Robinson tries to follow. And now he's coming to the line.
It was a terrific pass, Bob. He saw the defense coming across. He just threw it over the top of the backboard.
Yeah.
Remember, Duncan grew up in the Virgin Islands dreaming about being a guard.
Next Sunday, as the promo interrupts the fascinating discussion, the NBA on NBC returns with a doubleheader starting at 2:30 Eastern on Showtime. Then in Game 1, Barkley and the Rockets, Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers. Then the Pistons and the Bulls from Chicago in Game 2. The NBA on NBC, a doubleheader, unusual start time, 2:30 Eastern for the pregame show, 3 o'clock Game 1.
Both coaches going with lots of guards. Future of basketball is unbelievable little guys in the perimeter with just 1 or 2 big guys in the middle.
After the 2 free throws, David Robinson has 10. Steve Smith connects on a 3.
For Steve Smith.
Van Exel trying to find Kobe. Too long off the glass. Jordan back on the wing to Smith. Off the baseline.
Now Steve Smith was another one of those guys who grew up in Detroit, came to my camp when he was in high school, out of Persian High School.
Jordan sprinting ahead, saving it, intending it for Smith, but now Gary Payton has it. Van Exel into the lane. Nick Van Exel.
Van Exel.
Bob, Nick Van Exel grew up an only child in Kenosha, Wisconsin, halfway between Milwaukee and Chicago. He said his dreams as a kid were just to go to Division I and be on TV every now and then. Now here he is at the ultimate game.
Kobe Bryant couldn't stop Michael Jordan. Robinson came over to try and help on a double team, but Michael hit the hoop anyway.
You know, the players want to see Michael and Kobe go at it. Every time one of them gets the ball, they kind of let them isolate and go one-on-one.
Bryant tries to answer at the other end. It's no good. Duncan misses the little hook, and Kobe has it back. Antoine Walker with the steal. Sometimes in this game, it's hard to recognize right off who your teammates are. Here's Smith for 3, and Steve Smith is on fire.
He and Howard Isley were in the same camp of mine. Rashawn Leonard, all those guys.
Van Exel floating through the air, and Jordan has the rebound. 67-51 East.
All those campers listening to those lectures you gave.
Well, not only the lectures that I was giving, but Magic Johnson was there, Mark McGuire was there, George Gervin was there. We used to have some great games after camp.
Jordan gives it up to Kemp inside. Robinson deflects the shot, and his teammate Duncan has it. Last minute of the half.
Nice.
it, but Peyton can.
Now that's the creativity of the young guys. Kobe Bryant just made a dribble move on the run that I've never seen before. He took it behind his back the reverse way and then dished it off to Tim Duncan.
Jordan stuck at 13 as that one spins out.
The West guards are rebounding the long ball better than the East.
Van Exel. His three cuts the East lead to 67-56.
But that's the first three-pointer for the West today in 8 attempts.
Stay in your seats at halftime for a very special New York Broadway presentation.
Antoine Walker backs up, cranks up a three. Bryant with the rebound. The clock is stuck at 27 seconds.
Talk about home court advantage.
The ball goes out of bounds. And while they try and figure out how much time remains before halftime, we sneak in a commercial. Time Perch, Hannah Storm, Peter Vesey, and John Sally. They'll join us with the Prudential Halftime Report. And you won't want to miss it as some of the stars of Broadway perform show tunes live from center court. There's a Broadway theme, as you may know, to this whole All-Star weekend. Bill Walton hanging around the hotel lobby impersonating Ethel Merman for hours on end, which I found actually very disturbing.
What team does she play for, Bob, in the WNBA?
There's no business like NBA business. In the last 3 seconds, Peyton with the left hand and Bryant, something to take into the locker room. And that'll do it.
That's the end of the first half.
The East leads at 67-58 after the first 24 minutes.
Coming up in just a moment is the
Jordan leads all scorers with 13. Rice has 11. David Robinson and Kobe Bryant each with 10 to lead the West. The Prudential Halftime Report comes up next.
1999 All-Star Weekend.
During the defense-minded regular season, there have been some games where this might be close to the final score, 67-58, but the All-Star game is meant to be an entertaining exhibition. That it has been. Dizzying at times. You almost can't keep up with it. Thoughts on the first half?
Well, Kobe and Michael had come out and they put on the show. Kobe challenged Michael early. Michael stepped up, met the challenge, and Kobe has really set the tempo and the pace of this All-Star game here this first half. Look for Michael Jordan to come back the second half, as the old vets do, and say, okay, young fella, my time.
Bill Walton.
Bob, it's a guards league out there, and the three-point shooting for the Eastern Conference was just marvelous. You had Glenn Rice, Tim Hardaway, and Steve Smith all coming off the bench, giving a great boost to Larry Bird. None of that was evidence for the West. So unless they find the range from three-point land, I just don't see what the West can do, Bob.
And here's a look at the Miller Lite halftime stats, and we'll just focus on the high scores. Kobe Bryant and David Robinson, each with 10. Vin Baker and Mitch Richmond with 8 for the West. Michael Jordan is the leading scorer in the game with 13 as we look at the East high scores. Glenn Rice came off the bench firing. He has 11. Steve Smith has 8. If the theme is Michael possibly passing the torch to Kobe, well, the players certainly get it, and they're setting those guys up. Both Michael and Kobe have 11 shots from the floor. Nobody else has more than 8, so they're going to give them a chance to shine in this game tonight. We'll be back with the second half in a minute.
Garden, I'm joined by Michael Jordan. Now, everybody is excited about this showdown between you and Kobe. Now, how do you see it the first half?
First of all, I don't consider it a showdown, but I think that, we both are trying to do our job to entertain, and we're trying to play as hard and not try to isolate ourselves away from the rest of the players. So, I mean, in the mix of that, we will have our times where we go one-on-one, but I'm not going to try to do it too often because I don't want to take away from the other guys being here.
But you will not shy away from that isolation.
Oh, I will defend myself without a doubt.
All right, let's go down to Jim, who's with Kobe. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. We'll get the response. You're not shying away at all from Michael. You're going after him, aren't you, Kobe?
I'm just having fun. I'm having a good time. Michael's a great player, one of the best players of all time. And what better way to learn the game than going at him?
But you've issued a bit of a challenge, and he's got his pride up, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, me too. And that's how you play the game. That's how I grew up playing the game, and I'm sure he did too, and every player out here as well. So that's what makes this game interesting.
Now, there have been a couple of smiles exchanged between you two. Have there been any words?
No, not yet.
All right, Kobe. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, he's coming after him.
As most of you know, Michael Jordan bypassed the All-Star practice yesterday, had flu symptoms, temperature of 101, took antibiotics, rested, declared before the game that he felt much better. And in this game, he's already bypassed Elgin Baylor, Julius Erving, and Bob Pettit with his 13 first-half points, and now trails only Kareem and the Big O in the all-time annals of All-Star scoring. The last time prior to this weekend that Michael Jordan turned up sick, it was Game 5 of the NBA Finals. He was much sicker then, stomach virus, all kinds of additional symptoms. There's Kareem looking on. It'll take 41 from Michael tonight for Kareem's record to fall. You remember that night in Salt Lake City, Michael, out of the sickbed, scored 39 in one of the great performances, all things considered, in the modern history of sports. I don't think that's an overstatement. And it was the pivotal game in the series. Gave Chicago a 3-2 lead that they took back home, and then they wrapped it up in Game 6. Here's a look back.
And Michael Jordan was absolutely spectacular, doing everything during the game. During the timeouts, he would rest, collapse, be carried to the bench by his teammates. You could see the ashen look in his face. An incredibly inspiring performance that day, as great a player as I've ever seen.
So you know, Bill, when it comes down to championship play, it's not a matter of your skill, it's a battle of your wills. And Michael Jordan's will in terms of winning championship games and winning championship trophies are stronger than anyone in this league playing today.
He has passed someone else in an All-Star category. He had a couple of steals in the first half, and now, Isaiah, you must give it up.
But look at that list.
That was the only record that I had that he hadn't got yet. Now he's taking everything. He took the championship trophy from me. He took the All-Star trophy from me. Now he's taking the All-Star steals.
He has ransacked the entire village.
If the list is Magic, Jordan, Isaiah, and Bird, that's special company.
We start the second half. Shaq with the pass from Peyton, can't bank it home. And Sean Kemp has it for the East. They lead by 9. Penny Hardaway. Tim Hardaway of the Heat felt that he deserved the All-Star start. Michael missing, and so he's still at 13. Insofar as Penny played only 17 games in the season's first half, but the fans voted for Penny. Here's Peyton.
But Bob, there's some historical context to that comment, because in '92, when Magic won the MVP, we had the flashback earlier, Tim Hardaway gave up his starting spot to let Magic start. Magic hadn't even played that year. Tim Hardaway went to Penny and said, hey, look, that's the way I feel, and I'm not changing my mind.
Grant Hill hit for the East. Kevin Garnett answers for the West. Garnett is the first All-Star starter from Minneapolis since George Mikan in the 50s. Jordan with a smile on his face, toying with Karl Malone. Kemp. Malone has the rebound. Peyton accelerates, dishing to Garnett. Over Kemp. He's hit 2 in a row.
You know, when Garnett was in high school, when I was scouting him, he played every position out on the floor. But his favorite position, believe it or not, was the point guard position. He fancied himself as being a big Magic Johnson.
And that might work against him, because he's been catapulted into this level. And then in the game for Kevin Garnett is not quite there yet because of that huge contract he signed, and now he's got to live up, and believe me, his life will never be the same. And why not with $126 million?
Shaq missing the fadeaway, and Kemp has the rebound. Mutombo had the last basket off a Penny Hardaway pass for the East.
John Kemp has quietly put together a nice game here this afternoon.
Hard to do anything quietly, though, in this game. Understatement is not the coin of the realm tonight. Here's who's on the floor right now.
You got the one-on-one. You see everybody clears out.
I'm not so sure what that was, but Kemp has it. Now Malone takes it away. Who wants it?
Well, Shaq was protecting his buddy.
That was a foul.
Garnett could have given it to Kobe. Thought about it for a second, but decided, hey, I'd like to try the windmill jam.
That was nice. That was nice.
Peyton has 10 assists now.
Remember, Peyton had 15 assists in the game that Mitch Richmond won the MVP back in Phoenix. Shaq really closing down the middle.
Mutombo. You know, when we talk about Penny Hardaway starting, or Kevin Garnett, who might not be the best player right now on his own team with Stephon Marbury and Tom Gugliotta, someday he'll be the most valuable property there, no matter how good Marbury and Gugliotta may be. But it's a matter of who the fans wanted to see. Like this guy, Kobe Bryant. The starters, at least, are the province of the fans. The reserves voted on by a consensus of each conference's coaches. Kobe would be missed. Jerry Reynolds, who used to coach Sacramento, now their director of player personnel, said, look, we accept it's a popularity contest. If you put Little Penny on the ballot, he'd start.
That last play, though, by Kobe Bryant is an example of what he really needs to do to get to the next level. Being able to score off his own dribble when everything is too far extended. The only player who really does that, though, right now is Michael Jordan.
Big Penny misses. West back with the ball.
Nice tip away by... Which Penny is that?
That would be Big Penny.
Okay.
And to Kid, Garnett misses.
Here's the finals matchup right now. He looks at it.
The Jazz swept their 2 games during this regular season against the Bulls. Beat them in Chicago and in Salt Lake City. Hill floats. Doesn't hit it, but the tip is there for Sean Kemp. Bryant ahead to Shaq. Mutombo all over him and wrestles him down.
Mutombo told us Friday he wasn't giving up anything. He said no free lunch, no free chili. If Shaq gets it underneath, I'm fouling him. I'm not giving anything.
Shaq out in transition, the absolute best player in today's game, a big man up and down the floor. Now Shaq told me that he asked for 100 tickets. He only got 20. How disappointing.
Well, Shaq with a somewhat checkered all-star history. He's been selected all 6 years he's been in the league. Last year he was injured, didn't come to Cleveland, took some criticism for not showing up to be honored among the 50 greatest of all time. In '94, playing for the East, George Karl, this year's West coach, George coaching the West for the 3rd time, doubled and sometimes triple teamed him, held him to 8 points, and Shaq was really steamed. Here's Michael from 20. He's missed 3 in a row in this second half. And in '96, Shaq had 25 points and 10 rebounds in San Antonio. Jordan steals it, sets Penny up. He juggled it a little, so he couldn't go into the full-fledged act there, so he just kind of lays it in. And Shaq in '96, playing in San Antonio, where he went to high school, felt that maybe he should have been the MVP, and they gave it to Michael Jordan instead. So he's had some all-star disappointments, even though generally he's played well in the game. Malone with the basket at the other end.
Won that All-Star game last year in Cleveland. Shaq had a great game, but Michael Jordan did something that hasn't been done in an All-Star game ever. He recorded a triple-double. So Jordan deserved the MVP.
Which he also did last year in Cleveland.
Now that move that Shaq just performed is something that he's been working on, and as Shaq gets older, his game continues to develop and grow in the low post. He's starting to find his way and starting to find his space in the low post, and he repays Mutombo back for the slam.
Doesn't he name each of his moves? And I believe that this particular move, the spin move off the baseline, he has dubbed the Black Tornado. It blew Mutombo away, I'll tell you that. 80-69 East. Back to the NBA All-Star Game on NBC after this.
Basketball.
Kobe has challenged Michael. Michael comes out and he's saying, not tonight, young fella. I'm bringing all my tricks. Kobe comes back and he says, Michael, I'm stealing it. I'm taking it. I want the torch. Michael says, Kobe, I got some more tricks left in my bag. As Ahmad told us earlier, he's not ready to leave yet, folks.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
Bob, when I talked to Michael before the game in the locker room, and I asked him about all this speculation about what's next and who's next in terms of Kobe Bryant and all the hype, he said it's okay to talk about it, but that's not something you give away. That's something that the player is going to have to go out there and earn. And he said that Kobe Bryant is a candidate, but that he's got to let his game define his existence and not just the hype and the commercials and everything else.
Dikembe Mutombo at the line, as you may know, grew up in Zaire, which is now, after much turmoil, once again the Congo. But when it was Zaire, he, as an 8-year-old kid in 1974, stood in the back of the stadium, stood on top of a crate to see over the crowd to watch Muhammad Ali fight George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle in 1974. His mom ran a concession stand at the stadium selling soda and snuck him in as an 8-year-old to see the fight. Bryant missing.
And Dikembe still goes regularly back to Africa, his native country, and he's planning on building a couple of hospitals there. Raises a ton of money. He's bringing the entire NBA over there for a big All-Star game next September in South Africa, Bob.
Maybe not the entire NBA.
Well, enough to play a game.
A few hundred would swell the population. Malone. And Karl Malone hits. He's been quoted this week as saying, you know, I'm really not a Showtime player. All-Star games aren't for me, but he has twice been the MVP in '89 and in '93. Hill off the Hardaway pass, and then Jordan intercepts the inbound.
Well, this is Karl Malone's first All-Star game without John Stockton, and he told us Friday that he feels kind of lost. He doesn't know what to do without his partner out there, but if he gets hot, he says he wants a lot of time and he wants the ball.
MJ slithers inside Bryant, and a goaltending call on Shaquille O'Neal, but he really took the youngster to school on that exchange.
Isolated along the baseline to back him down. You look inside, the little hitch, the step underneath. Kobe hung out to dry. Shaq, only the goaltend possibly.
But see, that's what teammates do, Bill. You're not going to embarrass my teammate. That's what Shaq said.
Kobe for 3.
That's where Kobe is much better than creating off his own dribble. The spot-up shooting, one quick dribble here and then up.
See, when Sean Kemp's dunk, I love the antics that he does after his dunks. You know, the little moves that he does.
Garnett, that's a 2-point attempt. Kemp has the rebound. Hardaway set Kemp up for that dunk with a nice pass. This time it's Hardaway to Mutombo.
Way to reward the big fella. The big fella gets out and run. You got to give him the basketball.
Bryant, who now has 13 after hitting the 3 a moment ago. Shaq to the foul line for the jumper.
The East has so many of these 6'7" guys like Grant Hill who can dribble it out after their own rebound.
Bryant puts it to himself and then tosses it over. Now, I'm not sure if he traveled there or if he had some kind of violation, because I'm not sure I've ever seen that move before, but the official said, hey, it's a show, we're watching it like everybody else.
That's the same dribble move that he used in the first half. It's a move that I haven't seen in basketball before. His creativity is amazing.
Peyton with an easy one.
Well, he wanted to pass it off the board to Shaq, but Dikembe saw the whole thing coming and stayed at home with Shaq.
Hardaway.
None of the shot blockers are coming, Bob. They're all standing with their own guys so they don't get dunked on.
Defense taking a holiday, especially in the last few minutes. Uncontested layups. Bryant with a 3, displaying the full range. He has the incredible hook sandwiched in between a pair of 3s, and now Hill with the slam.
Kobe's putting on the show. He's got Magic jumping out of his seat. He got everybody in here going crazy.
He's got 18. Malone is short with it. Jordan, who has 15, comes back into the lane, off balance, and gets the roll.
That's what you love about Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Now, Mutombo may have touched that ball on the rim. It was going in anyway.
The referees have pocketed the whistle, Bob.
Well, when you're Michael Jordan in this league, you got to get some breaks. You got to get some calls, particularly in the All-Star game.
They give the basket to Mutombo, though, not to Michael. And O'Neal hits the little hook. Back comes Hardaway. The scoreboard doing crazy things at Madison Square Garden. I just looked up to check the score, and it reads East 97, West 3.
Kobe wants to take the choice. He's saying, I don't want you to pass it. Look at the dribble move. Look at the fake. And the hook. Let's take another look at that. I've never seen this before. Behind his back, to himself, to his right hand, and the Kareem sky hook.
You're not that old that you've never seen that move.
Magic jump. Look at Magic.
Hey, I don't think Magic's ever seen it before, but he loves it. And now Kobe from the outside.
And this is a deep, long 3 right in front of, I love this game. And he laughs and gives us a wink.
The highlight reel is what it's about, but just for the books, it's 97-83.
AT&T, it's all within your reach. And by the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's?
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. I'm Jim Gray. A spectacular show by a 19-year-old young man, Kobe Bryant, is mesmerizing this entire crowd and the entire NBA, all of his peers. Look at this move. He's shooting 7 for 16 from the field. Kobe, Isaiah Thomas and Bill Walton have seen an awful lot of basketball. They said they've never seen a player move like that. Where'd you learn that one?
It's really just playing on the playgrounds in Philadelphia. When I came back from Europe, I picked up a few tricks here and there.
Now, how much did you practice that for this game specifically?
Not much. When I get in this game, I just basically try to play off of instincts.
Now, come on. You had to practice that a little bit. You told me you had a little something special. Was that it?
No, not yet.
Not yet. You got something else in there, huh?
If I get the opportunity to, I will, yeah.
18 points. You think an MVP at all if you can come back?
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm just out there playing.
All right, Kobe, we look forward to the next trick, Bob.
Gary Payton hit a 3 while they were talking. Well, if that's not the A-list move, I'd love to see what is. That's not the secret play, he says. Kobe Bryant from Philadelphia, the All-Star game is there next year, and he has said that his goal was to make the All-Star team in his 3rd year so he could play in Philly. He jumped it by a year, and it's obvious that he belongs.
Well, it's amazing the things that the young guys coming into the league are thinking about in their minds. I never would imagine that a player would ever try a move like that. When Kobe talked about being over in Europe and learning that move when he came back, it's interesting that Kobe speaks 3 languages. He speaks fluent Italian and French, and he also scored 1,100 on his SAT and is still continuing his college education while he's a professional basketball player. Amazing young man.
Studying at UCLA, I might add. Isaiah,
you want everybody to be at UCLA.
That's right. I wanted you to come there too. Have you ever seen anybody better at 19 than Kobe Bryant?
I've never seen anyone with the skill set and the maturity that he has at 19 and the total understanding for the entertainment package. Magic, myself, Michael Jordan, all of us, when we came into the league, we understood how to win championships, how to play basketball. But Kobe, at a very young age, understands the entertainment of basketball and understands how to get on the stage and entertain and perform.
The 2 best that I ever saw at 19 were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he was a youngster at UCLA, and then Sabonis, now the center for the Portland Trail Blazers. When he was a 19-year-old player before the injuries and before he put on the weight, he was a 7'3" Larry Bird who could do everything.
But did he understand how to bring the fans into the game and how to make them say ooh and ah?
He didn't have to.
Here's Van Exel. It's in and out, and Jason Williams has the rebound. When you saw the high scores a moment ago, Jordan at 17, they changed that basket back again. Remember, Jordan took the jumper. Mutombo might have been guilty of an offensive goaltend, but he shoved it back home, and at first they gave the basket to Dikembe, and now they've changed it to Jordan. So give Michael 17. Here's Eddie Jones driving. Vin Baker comes away with it. The ball out of bounds to the west.
Just so nice to see David Robinson back in this game, Bob. I mean, it was a year ago with the back injury and the foot surgery where they put the pin in there. He didn't believe himself that he was going to make it back.
Mitch Richmond short with the 2-point attempt. Williams has not scored in this game, but he has a bunch of rebounds. He's got 6 of them in limited duty. Here's Tim Hardaway tossing one up, no good. But Glenn Rice is there for the follow.
You know, when we talked to David Robinson Friday, he told us when we were standing on the stage, Bill, with the 50 greatest players, it killed him not to be in that All-Star game in Cleveland. And he is so pleased with himself that he's been able to come back from the type of surgery that he's had and made the All-Star team again.
Van Exel marauding through the lane and tossing it home.
While we're on the 50 greatest players, it was amazing that Isaiah Thomas was the only guy there who none of his teammates were on that 50 greatest roster. That's how good this young man was.
Van Exel racing back the other way.
I didn't realize that, Bill, that I didn't have a teammate there until I went to talk to you, and you were standing there with 5 Celtics. Then it dawned on me, you know, that's why we couldn't beat you.
Pretty good players on those teams. David Robinson has been playing with a bad shoulder for a while, and he comes out rubbing it there.
You got the penetration in the lane, and he cups it and finger rolls it. You know, as he drove through the lane to protect the basketball, he cupped it. so he can bring it out and finger roll it, a la George Gervin.
The East has led all the way. They're up now by 11 with 17 seconds to play in the third quarter. Robinson cuts it to 10.
Nick Van Exel was especially appreciative of the encouraging words all season long by his good friend but opponent, Gary Pete, who has constantly said, Nick, you'll get there one day. Just be patient.
Rice was hammered. No foul call. Robinson slings it the other way as the buzzer sounds. Well, they were at the top of the marquee coming in, and they're doing it through 3. The East by 10. This, as you no doubt are aware, is the NBA on NBC, and we're back after these messages and a word from your local station.
The creator, the innovator of Showtime right here, Magic Johnson. Have you ever seen a young man like Kobe Bryant so confident at his age and so mature?
No, never. I think that he showed you things that a lot of, what are you talking about, 19-year-old, a lot of the guys 25 and 30, 35 can't even do. And that move down there was just unbelievable. His creativity and the fact that he thought and believed that it would go in was just amazing. And Isaiah, he understands that because he got moves like that himself.
Now, you talk a lot with Kobe, obviously, since you're with the club quite a bit.
Yeah.
He got your locker. How thrilled was he to have 32's old locker?
Well, he said I was always his idol, so it made me feel good. But I think the main thing is we're bringing him along as slowly as possible.
Well, you've been trying to until tonight. What is this going to do? Kind of ruin that process, didn't it?
I know, but we still want to do that. I just hope Michael Jordan stays around one more year to really, again, show him what a professional is like, to show him that he still must improve on his basketball game. And then if he can do that, then I think Kobe will be all right. But he needs Michael to stay around to really still show him, to still be the teacher, and he can still be the pupil and learn from Michael Jordan.
Now, have you conveyed those thoughts and that sentiment to Michael Jordan that you would like to see him stay, and are you trying to talk him out of leaving?
Yeah, I told him that yesterday as well as today. And I also talked to Kobe about looking at him and really not trying to pattern his game after him, but look at him and what he has accomplished, but not only what he has accomplished, but how he has accomplished it. He's always added something to his game. He's always in the gym practicing. This is Michael Jordan I'm talking about. So now, Kobe, you have to do the same thing.
Was Michael receptive to what you said, and do you think he has an open mind about returning?
Well, I think he has an open mind. I think right now he'll probably wait to the end of the season to really find out, okay, what the Bulls going to do, who's going to be there. Without Phil Jackson, he's never going to go back to the Bulls. That's over. But if Phil remains, then I think there's a great possibility. But hey, this is the Mecca right here, New York. Hey, it might be a possibility here, or LA. He has to have a center stage. He can't be with just any team. He has to have a stage. And what bigger stage than New York or somewhere?
Magic, great to see you. Always a thrill.
Tell my boy Isaiah hello, Bob hello. Isaiah, nobody could do it like us though. See, we had this game moving up and down, baby, up and down.
All right, Magic. Isaiah?
I feel you.
Now, you guys gonna go kiss again, or?
Well, that's my brother, and I love him.
And while we consider the possibility, let's step aside for a commercial. It seems like the best plan.
Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Well, moments ago, while we were away, Magic Johnson answers the question. It is now an official game.
I was interested in Magic's comments, hoping and urging Michael Jordan to come back. I think he should come back. I hope he does come back. And I was talking to Bill Russell, who was my favorite player when I was growing up. And I asked him about the situation that he was in at the end of his career, who was going to be the coach. And Russell said that every great player at that level, Russell, Bird, Magic, Isaiah Thomas, they should be able to pick their own coach.
Well, I was in a very similar situation in Detroit when Chuck Daly left. and we had a coaching change, and I had to adjust to a Ron Rothstein and a Don Chaney, 2 new coaches, and it totally threw my rhythm off. And even in my last year, I remember Don Chaney benched me and played Lindsey Hunter before me. So
he was gone quick.
Well, he was going the next year after that. But what Jordan is going through and what he's talking about with Phil Jackson is that you don't want to break in a new coach. You don't want to have someone who comes in and doesn't understand the way you play the game.
Well, we're already in an era, long since into an era, where that's part of the game. Magic Johnson ushered Paul Westhead out and Pat Riley in the early 80s. Grant Hill didn't support Doug Collins. I don't know if he pushed him out, but he certainly didn't pull him back in, and now Doug Collins is not the Piston coach. Penny Hardaway wanted Brian Hill out, so did some other members of the Orlando Magic, and out went Brian Hill. So Michael Jordan saw to it that Phil Jackson remained beyond when, for whatever reason, Chicago management wanted him to remain, and now Michael says, if Phil doesn't come back, I don't come back.
But that's what makes the Chicago situation so bizarre, because they all want him back, and the people in Chicago love him.
And Jordan nails a 3 for emphasis as we discuss the situation.
Yeah, and the guys that you talked about, though, they're not at the level that Michael Jordan is, or that Magic Johnson was, or even myself. Those guys that you're talking about, they haven't won championships.
And so you say to yourself, regardless of what friction there may be, as we watch Michael hit the triple again, between Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson, regardless of how enamored Jerry Krause may be of Tim Floyd of Iowa State, if you got a team that can win another championship or contend for one, and if Michael Jordan says this is what I want, and it's worked to the tune of 5 titles and maybe 7 had Michael not gone away to play baseball, what's the problem in bringing them all back?
You're asking the wrong guy, Bob.
It's a rhetorical question, I guess. I believe I'm preaching to the choir with you two. Reggie Miller hit at the other end. Now Van Exel with a 3 that's long. And Jason Williams, the closest thing to a hometown star. Grew up in the Lower East Side of New York. College at St. John's. Now representing the New Jersey Nets. With Patrick Ewing hurt, there's no Nick in the game. Miller for 3, as he's done so often in this building, and he turns to face Spike Lee. But this might be the one night when Spike is actually rooting for Reggie, since he's got to be, as a Knick fan, pulling for the Eastern Conference.
Bob, Spike never roots for Reggie. Every time he sees Reggie in the Indiana uniform, he roots totally against him.
Reggie almost quit the game of basketball before this season. He's had all kinds of problems, the injuries of a couple years ago. Somebody comes in and foolishly, stupidly burns his house down, destroys his whole lifetime of collection and stuff. Larry Bird, when he took the coaching job, he called up Reggie and said, hey, Reggie, look, I know you're going through a lot of trouble here. We need you. We got something that's really special here. Please, please stay with us. We think we can turn it back around. Reggie reluctantly came back to play, and it's really paid off.
And when you talk about Reggie's house burning down, to show you what type of league this is, how the players and the commissioner looks out for the family members, David Stern has taken it upon himself to start a memorabilia collection for Reggie Miller to get back all the stuff that he
Van Exel tried to set his teammate Eddie Jones up when Eddie couldn't finish. Van Exel was there, but there may have been a foul before Van Exel attempted his shot, and there was, so Eddie Jones is coming to the line.
Well, this is like a regular Laker game right here, just coming down in waves, throwing the ball up above the hoop and throwing it down.
Well, there's a great all-star tradition of helping to get your teammates off in this game. Karl Malone, the 2 times he won MVP, had 28 points in each game. Stockton had 17 assists the first time and 15 the second time when he shared MVP honors at the Delta Center with Karl Malone.
I remember that game that those 2 won the MVP there, but the thing I remember most about that game is that was Shaquille's first All-Star game, and I remember him coming to my room asking me for advice. And Joe Dumars and I were sitting on the bed, and this 7-foot guy comes in, and he was the first one to turn Joe and I on to rap music. He was rapping, singing a song about Snoop Doggy Dogg, and that's when Joe and I looked at each other and said, you know, I think we're getting a little too old for this stuff now.
Jordan spins into the lane, the up and under is there for him.
And you obviously told Shaq to inbound the ball, block a lot of shots, and rebound and throw long outlets.
When the guy's that big, you don't say anything to him but okay.
Van Exel through a crowd with a miss. Jones out of the pack of the ball, puts it back up and no good. Vin Baker has it blocked, and here's Michael. Jordan has 22 points, bouncing to Miller, and Reggie can't finish it. Van Exel slings it back the other way. Jones pulls up for three. Vin Baker blocked by Smits into the hands of Michael.
Vin Baker pushed Reggie Miller out of the way, and Rick Smits came behind him and said, "Don't push my teammate."
Smits at 7 short goes behind the back to give Jason Williams the bucket.
The Duncan Dutchman on the behind-the-back pass.
Well, he went to school at Marist College just a few miles north of Madison Square Garden. He's got to have some rooters here today.
His family is here from Holland, Bobby. That's where he's from.
Known for his dunks, the Duncan Dutchman behind the back to Jason for a slam dunk.
Dutch treat.
The NBA thanks New York Knicks organization.
And the bench goes crazy.
And it's Mayor
And how about the up, the scoop, the George Gervin finger roll.
Back to Madison Square Garden as soon as we can catch our breath.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. Got to see that's how I dream to be.
Boom, 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 boom.
I dream I move.
I move.
I dream I groove.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
I wanna be like Mike.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
Could be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Oh,
Be like Mike.
yeah, I try. Oh, just need to fly. Oh, yes, just one day I could
Feel that way.
boom, 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 boom.
I dream I move. Like Mike.
If I could be like Mike.
If I could be like Mike.
What's up, Mike?
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
I'm not going to sing.
Moments ago, the Phoenix Suns gorilla, essaying the role of King Kong, absent Fay Ray, uses the collapsing Empire State Building to launch himself toward a slam. And here are masters of their respective domains, Commissioner David Stern and Mayor Rudolph Giuliani. The mayor overlooking the apparent zoning ordinance violation involved in the collapsing Empire State Building. A while ago, the East went on a 12-0 run to up their advantage to 119-96, but the score doesn't eliminate Kobe Bryant as an MVP candidate, that's for sure, and there's some history. There have been 3 MVPs off losing teams. Bob Pettit of the Hawks in 1958, Dr. J in 1977, Magic Johnson in 1990. Rick Smits from the head of the key.
Smits is feeling it now. You can just see it in his face. Finally, his health returned to him this year. The feet looking, feeling very good.
Well, the East players has taken a cue from Michael Jordan early in the game. He told him when he first got here this week, he wants to win this game, and the East has come out to show their dominance. And we talked to Bird, he talked about playing Jordan at the point.
Michael misses with the left hand, but Antoine Walker of the Celtics slams it home and makes sure folks notice it. Eddie Jones with the reverse.
Very nice.
Well, when I was talking to Eddie Jones, he talked about how he's changed his dedication this year. Last year, he tailed off at the end of the season and did not play well in the playoffs. And it was because he stopped working out off the court. He committed himself to work out throughout the season in that weight room with his physical trainer, and he's convinced that those moments of inconsistency that have plagued Eddie Jones are now a thing of the past.
I know from experience from being a GM in Toronto that when you put the fear in the player's heart that you may send him from Los Angeles to Sacramento, that'll make you play a little better and work a lot harder.
Antoine Walker for 3. He has that kind of range, but he misses. He had a 49-point game earlier this year against Washington. That matches Michael Jordan's 49 against the Clippers for the high output in the league this year. In and out for Eddie Jones. And here comes Reggie Miller, who scored 14. The East by 25, 125-100. Coming up on 4 minutes to play in the game. Walker. And Duncan the rebound.
Do you think Larry Bird is trying to play Michael Jordan a lot of minutes to suck up to him?
No, because I think he's trying to wear him out, possibly. Smith with the very nice block there.
And there is Larry Bird, a 12-time All-Star, 3-time league MVP, and the All-Star coach in his rookie year. Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, starring Steven Seagal, comes up after the All-Star game.
Bob, when I was talking to Michael and Larry before the game tonight, they were reminiscing about the great moments in Barcelona. And I know, Zeke, how disappointed you were not to be on that trip. But we do have Ahmad Rashad, who knows a little bit about that trip to Barcelona.
I do know about that trip to Barcelona, but another thing was I was talking to Larry about Michael retiring. He said he doesn't want Michael to retire. He said he knows that when you retire, you have absolutely nothing to do. There are not enough tee times to keep you busy. And he said, take it from me, I'm back coaching, and he said, I hope Michael does not make that same mistake, because he's a guy that needs something to do every day, like play basketball. Bob?
I was retired once, and I hated it.
I lost track of how many times you were retired. Here is Garnett. We've heard tonight that Michael has the two most esteemed predecessors of his telling him to retire. Garnett with the dub. Magic is working on him. Larry Bird's working on him. Millions of fans would say the same to him if they had an opportunity.
Well, we just don't want Michael to leave the game. You know, Magic, Bird, myself, the way we had to leave the game, it was because of injuries or other reasons. And we don't want Michael to look back and turn around and want to do something that he loves so much and leave it too early.
But Isaiah, I think the great players, of the guys you just listed, you have to play it out, because that helps validate the next generation when they finally get to the point where they can beat you. When age and injury does catch up, then it says, okay, now we see these new guys, and they really do have it.
Jordan was fouled, taking it to the hole. He'll be at the line when we come back. 2.5 minutes to play.
I'm not comfortable living in a swamp where assassination attempts are taking place. Every loon with a vendetta, every snake with a sinus headache frightens me.
Hey, snap out of it, Louie. Everybody knows it was you.
Oh, Frank, I had no motive. I love Budweiser, and I love the frogs.
Oh, yeah, you're good buddies. I forgot.
Excuse me, if you would remember last summer, I invited them to that barbecue.
Yeah, well, Louie, you wanted to cook them at that barbecue.
But at least I invited them.
Oh.
You wouldn't have invited them at all.
The new tax laws are very confusing, and what this did for me is...
Of his career, Michael Jordan's All-Star experience has been spectacular. In '88, he won his second straight slam dunk contest. This is the move that became a poster. Remember that? Millions of kids have that one hanging on the wall. And then in the game the next day, he scored 40 and was named the MVP. 2 years ago in San Antonio, he led the East to victory and won his second All-Star MVP award.
Now, Michael, this is the first Bob, excuse me, this is the first time that Michael Jordan has played for Larry Bird as a coach. And I asked Michael what his favorite memory of Larry Bird was. And he went back to the 63-point game in the '86 playoffs, Jordan's second year in the league. And Larry, who was the MVP at the time and the champion, Larry got Michael guarding him in the low post. And Larry just eyes lit up and he said, I got a little one down here. And he said, give me the ball. Bird said, give me the ball. Jordan comes down and Bird switches onto him. So Jordan starts hollering, hey, I got a big one out here. They just kept going the rest of the way on his way to 63 with Big Little.
Michael Jordan just made one of two. The first one he shot conventionally. The second one, you were able to see he did what he sometimes does in a game that's a blowout, or a game like this, the All-Star game, which is both an exhibition and a blowout as it turns out, 128 to 106. He shot the second one with his eyes closed and missed it. Steve Smith off with a three. Jason Kidd with the world's longest tap attempt from about 10 feet. Here's Garnett.
But Jordan's the type of guy that even though he shot it with his eyes closed, he's mad that he missed it.
But look what George Karl's got out here for the West right now. You're talking all the young guys. Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Kevin Garnett, Jason Kidd, Tim Duncan.
Smith missing the three. West ball out of bounds. 1:39 to play. East by 20. This is the second foul shot by Michael. Eyes closed, and it's off left. Oh, no.
And he's probably mad that he missed it. But what the young guys should do is take advice from the older guys. Seek one of the older guys out. When I came to my first All-Star game, I saw Kareem out to ask Kareem, how do I handle my career? How do I go about being a champion? The one thing that Kareem told me when I first came into the league as a rookie was, Isaiah, stay grounded and stay humble. And that was the best advice that I ever got in an All-Star game.
Eddie Jones slices through. 13 for him.
The guy that was my mentor coming up,
Glenn Rice,
was Steve Jones. Now in the cyberspace.
The snapper.
Absolutely.
Steve Smith gets the basket on the follow.
So, Isaiah, who's your pick for MVP?
Michael Jordan. It has to be Jordan. His team won. He's the leading scorer. And this is what the young players got to learn. Even though you come out and you put on the show and you entertain the fans, the bottom line is you still have to win, and you got to win championships to be considered one of the greatest ever.
A rainbow three from Glenn Rice.
But Jordan came out and set the tempo early. The first drive in the middle, get the team off to the lead. He hit the jumpers, while all the hype and everything and the spectacular plays went to Kobe. Michael leading the team to victory with the discipline, with the fundamentals, and the conditioning. I think the conditioning of Jordan is so often overlooked. He works so hard at being at the top.
Eddie Jones with it as we play out the final seconds. Van Exel, an unguarded three, way off. Kemp firing ahead for Smith. He'll take it.
Now, both of those guys play every summer against each other at St. Cecilia Recreation League.
Kevin Garnett missing, but considering it's just the final seconds of an All-Star game, he can say, as he does in those commercials, that it was tastefully done.
And if I'm all these young guys right now, knowing that this may be Michael Jordan's last game, I'm running to ask him for his gym shoes, and will he sign them for me?
35, the West 14.
Go for the jersey, forget the shoes.
Kobe over to congratulate Michael. He's looking for him. There they are. And this may be as close to a torch passing as we'll see. There's always the possibility that the Lakers and Bulls could be in the finals. But this might be the last time we see Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan on the floor at the same time. The teams have played their 2 regular season games already. They split them. The Bulls won in Chicago. Lakers won last week at the Forum. And if they don't meet in the finals, and if, despite everyone's pleas to the contrary, this is it for Michael Jordan, then this is where the torch was passed.
Well, watching all the players come up and hug Michael Jordan and give him the type of respect and the love that he deserves, it would be sad to see him leave the game and not be able to continue to pass on his wisdom and his knowledge to these younger players and teach them how to be professionals and teach them how to win championships and understand the whole entertainment package of what the fans and what basketball is really all about.
You know, that last part might be the most important. The wisdom and the knowledge are certainly key. But I think the main thing to everybody watching tonight and through all the years, they just love to watch this guy perform, and they don't want it to end before it has to.
And I think the way it's going to play out, Bob, and the way it should play out is that go through the season. This knock off all the talk about what's going to happen next year. Finish this season, and then when it's over, sit down and say, okay, now what do we do?
Well, I think the most important question and the follow-up on that, Bill, is what does the Bulls organization do? Because here's a young man, an old man, young man, veteran player who loves the game of basketball and still wants to play.
Well, let's go to Jim Gray with the young man, Kobe Bryant, who led the West with 18. Jordan's 23, was tops in the game. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Well, Kobe, you didn't get back in the game the last 18 minutes. George Karl iced you a little bit. Were you disappointed?
No, not really. I just like to come out here and have some fun. I had my fun, and I was able to rest a little bit.
Now, this, Eric, this experience, how much fun was it for you?
It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, I was matched up with Mike, and we had a chance to go head-to-head a little bit. It was incredible.
Now, Michael Jordan has indicated that this might be his last year. How big of a disappointment would that be for you, and how much more can you learn from him?
Well, you can never stop learning. And Mike, every time I play against Mike, I learn something new. Disappointed, I don't know, because without him, I wouldn't be here right now. So.
What'd you learn tonight? What was the new thing you learned from him tonight?
Well, I can't tell you that. I got to keep all that to myself. For all the future basketball players out there or coming out of high school, can't give up my secrets.
You embraced each other. Did he say anything to you? And has the torch kind of been passed tonight?
I don't know. I think we just, went out, played hard, competed a little bit. They say keep up the hard work.
Now, Magic Johnson said that they want to bring you along slowly, and Del Harris has tried to do that. Did that task just become a little bit more difficult after today's game?
I don't know. I hope so.
Congratulations to you, Kobe.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you many more years. All right, let's go to Ahmad Rashad, who has the MVP. Ahmad?
All right, it is now time to make the presentation for this year's All-Star Game Most Valuable Player. And to make that presentation, here's the Commissioner of the NBA, Mr. David Stern.
Gave us a quadruple double.
We lost. Thank you. There's one star who is the star of stars tonight, amongst the greatest athletes in the world. I'm only going to allow him to have his trophy if he promises to come back and do it again. The all-star of all stars, the MVP, Michael Jordan. And to help me make the presentation, I'm going to ask Jack Greenberg, the chairman and CEO of McDonald's USA, to say a few words.
Well, Michael, as the proud sponsor of the NBA All-Star balloting this year again, it is McDonald's great pleasure to award you the McDonald's MVP award. You are fantastic. On behalf of all the owner-operators across America of McDonald's, we say congratulations. This really makes a great deal of sense. You have been such a great friend and role model for McDonald's, for the sport, and the country. We love you, and congratulations.
All right, Michael, knowing how much you love playing here in New York, this has to be special for you to win it here in New York.
It is special. I've had some great games here. The fans have always treated me with the utmost respect. I think to come back here and play in front of the fans here means a lot. This is basketball Mecca, and I've enjoyed playing here, and I look forward to hopefully coming back one day.
Oh, was that a hedge? So for all the fans here, and I'm sure all the fans at home, don't leave. Come on back and play again.
Well, I will. I don't have a problem coming back. Honorary, I don't have a problem.
All right, congratulations, Michael. All right, let's go over to you, Bob.
Well, just in case you missed that word, he's not committing to anything because he said honorary. I don't have a problem. I'm perhaps thinking about the way Magic Johnson played in the '92 All-Star Game. So he is not prepared to say that he'll come back and play a full season again next year, and won't apparently do it unless it's under the terms that he's willing to accept.
Well, the love is in his heart for the game, and it's a shame that he can't continue to play for the team and the organization that he loved in terms of the Chicago Bulls. And it would be a tragedy if they break that team up and move Phil Jackson on.
I was impressed by the fact that all 23 other players stayed on the court and watched the ceremony. In the past, they've all just raced to the locker room, and they know that Michael Jordan is the reason that they have the greatest lives that anybody could possibly have.
The final score, which seems quite secondary, was 135 to 114 East. They led all the way. They never trailed. Grant Hill is with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Grant, kind of tough to get the basketball with Michael Jordan in the game, but you played very well. What's it like to be on the court with you?
First of all, I don't mind in Mike's shoes all the time. It's a pleasure to play with him, even though he's a Tar Heel. But no, it's fun to go out here and play with these great players, in a great environment here in New York, All-Star Game. I had fun, and now I got to go back to Detroit and have some fun there.
Do you feel as though he will return? What's your gut feeling? Has he said anything in the locker room? Do you have any sense?
I think he's going to come back. I think he's still able to dominate. He's still leading the league in scoring. He's still making the spectacular plays. I think he'll come back. It's a lot of money, so I think he'll come back. But no, he don't need the money. I think he just loves to play, and I hope he comes back.
Congratulations on the victory tonight, Grant.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, let's go back to Ahmad Rashad with Michael Jordan.
All right, Michael, now you've played in so many of these games, and they have their own rhythms about them. What was special about this one today?
Well, being here in Madison Square Garden means a lot. I mean, it's basketball Mecca, and I enjoy playing here. I think the fans here are very up to understanding the game, and for me to come in here and to play as hard as I play and get the respect of these fans, that means a lot to me.
Was it a little lonely being without some of the stars that you played in this game before? Charles wasn't here, Clyde not here.
Yeah, the first thing we said to each other, Carl and I, we're the two oldest guys here. You know, and things have changed. I remember when we were the two youngest guys here. And, you know, Sean Kemp said, boy, it's pretty quiet with Charles Barkley not being around. So, I mean, everybody could tell that, you know, times are changing. Some of the old guys are starting to move along and let some of the young guys come in. So, I mean, it's starting to change.
Can you compare this to your first experience in an All-Star game?
No, it's different. It's the other end of the spectrum. You know, I mean, when I first came here, I didn't know what to expect playing in an All-Star game. I just wanted to fit in. Now, I know what to expect, and I'm just trying to fight off all the young guys.
So now that this is over with, you got to gear up for the second half of the season. A little bit of turmoil in Chicago. How do you look at that? How do you guys get together and go for that next championship?
Hey, we block all that stuff out, you know. And if it is true, I mean, this is the last time we go around together, and we use that to our momentum. And you know, hopefully we can go out there and focus on the basketball game and forget about all the other stuff. You know, once we're on the basketball court, it's all basketball anyway.
All right, congratulations, man. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday on NBC. Back to you, Bob.
All right, Ahmad, thanks. This was Michael Jordan's third All-Star MVP award. Ties Oscar Robertson with 3, one behind the all-time leader, Bob Pettit of the St. Louis Hawks, who won it 4 times. We'll be back to Madison Square Garden to wrap things up after this 48th NBA All-Star game in just a moment.
Sir, is this your computer? Yeah.
Today that Michael Jordan was the star of stars. Everything that this league has come through from the 80s now to the 90s is because of him. The young guys in this league has to step it up. They have to pick up the torch and accept the knowledge and the wisdom that Mike was trying to pass on to these guys.
Bill.
Bob, the game of basketball, to me, reflects what the All-Star game symbolizes, and that's that it's a celebration of life, with everybody coming here and running and jumping and smiling and hugging and kissing, and we can get away from the competition, the hardcore, he's the enemy. And so what we saw today was Michael Jordan at his greatest. Some of the old guys not here today, but yes, the new guys with so much to offer here. So this league, even though it has suffered from some negative criticism over the past couple months, so many great things happening, and it was all on display here today in New York.
And pretty clear that the players get it. They all want to have their moment. On the other hand, they understood the storyline, Michael and Kobe, and they stepped aside and let those guys have the ball as often as they wanted it to do what they could with it, and they did plenty. Kobe led the West with 18. Michael led everybody with 23 and took the MVP award. Once again, the final score, the East 135 and the West 114. The NBA on NBC returns next Sunday with a doubleheader, starting at 2:30 Eastern Time with NBA Showtime. Then in Game 1, Barkley and the Rockets, and Olajuwon's back.